So can you talk a little bit more about that, the magic of Gopi a bit? I know it sounds a little egoic, but if you can hone in on the X factor on that a bit, I think it's worth discussing.
Yeah. So I don't know what is it that, particularly refer to the magic of Gopi, but I'm getting a sense of what you might be referring to, or that particular host was introducing me. I mean, underlying all this, CK, is that simple notion that everyone is human and everyone is worthy and everyone is amazing. And the culture I grew up, we're also trained that everyone is divine. It's actually a collection of divine beings in different human experiences. And it's the exact same divine being. And it's different instances of it. There are 100 billion humans that have walked this planet or are currently still here, about 7.4 billion, but an estimated 100 billion from the first time Homo sapiens stood upright and started walking. And all those 100 billion are considered like various instances of just amazing human beings, divine beings in a human form. So you start with that sense of connection. And essentially, if I were to use in a podcast like this, I would use a sense of love. And what years of practice of yoga, particularly yoga philosophy, has taught me is, as much as possible, lose that sense of the other and lose that sense of separation and find a point of connection. And that's a very meaning of the word yoga. It means to join yourself with
Mm,
everyone else and find
mm,
the connection, and eventually to a larger cosmic consciousness.
mm, 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 mm,
When you approach every gathering, every situation with that, all you feel is a deep sense of connection, and a deep sense of love and empathy and compassion. You don't see separation, you don't see the other, and then you're a lot more forgiving. Very little, few things annoy you. Of course, people have their unique ways of approaching it, and they have their behavioral things, and things may trigger you, etc. That's normal. You're also just being human. But underlying all that, you're able to just acknowledge the fact that there is this connection, interdependency amongst us, and that creates a certain spaciousness, that creates psychological safety, that creates certain beauty. And then things start flowing, magic happens, and you can have fun with it, and you're not uncomfortable in any situation, you're not nervous about it. And if things don't work the way you wanted it to in that human interaction, in the energy, that's okay, you let it go. And because everything is fleeting and everything is transient. So it is that sort of an approach that allows me to operate with that kind of, I would say, spaciousness. And for the most part, it works. It chills everyone. And to get there, you also shouldn't take yourself way too seriously. Yeah, I think life is too important to be taken seriously. So,
mm,
and that way, when you act in a disarming way with your own, could be as simple as self-deprecating sense of humor, or doing things that are a little wild and crazy but done for fun, it gives permission to everyone else to do that. So I'll give you an example, in real terms, practical terms, how it goes from the outrageous to what might be possible. So you go to Burning Man, that's where we met.
mhm,
And I've gone 15 years. This would have been my 16th year if we
mhm,
had had it. Why do I go? One of the reasons is it's this artificial container that exists for a week.
mhm,
Everyone is given permission to just be themselves in whatever way they want. Creative freedom, life expression freedom, etc. Right? And everyone who shows up, especially the people who've been going there for a while, do that. And the silliness of it all, and what people are wearing and what form they take on, is it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And therefore it is beautiful, because the instant you go there, the very first time, people who don't even know what the festival is about arrive and change. They watch this and say, oh, I can be that way. Right? So that's sort of a norm. Now it's easy because that container at Burning Man permits it, and that's how it got created, and that's how it's thrived for 30 years, and that's why only a certain type of person gets attracted to it. It's not for everyone. Not everyone is at that level of comfort or uh, thinking. But elements of it you can bring to other situations also. So I have walked into business meetings here at work, and in with some of my Burning Man attire. I did one last week when I was presenting to a group of fairly senior clients. I had my crazy hat and jacket on. And part of what I'm asked, I have to do in these kind of conversations, really create magic with the products we're building, the ideas we're exploring.
Mm,
I said, we will explore, but let's start with some literal magic. And I actually did a magic trick. Where out of the hat I pulled out their product, and it is fun. It is a little silly, but instantly it gives permission to everyone, saying, "Relax, let's be ourselves and have a really good
mm,
conversation." And
mm,
the most difficult business conversations take place when people are relaxed, having fun. That's when you learn. That's when creativity flows. That's when ideas explode. But in order to get people to that stage, I had to take that little bit of a risk of doing something on the edge. And
mm,
so I was bringing a concept I might have learned from Burning Man into the situation. First, I give myself permission, take that risk. It could bomb, it could go the other way, but it's fine.
right.
It's not going to kill me. It actually worked very well. And we had so much fun and amazingness in that meeting and conversation.
Mm. I like that. So if I understand you correctly, you constantly are putting yourself or create situations where you're putting yourself at the edge. That requires a little bit of a risk, that requires a little bit of courage, right? And then as a way to strengthen your own muscle or permission, whatever you call it, as a way to take bigger and bigger risks. Is that accurate?
Only partially. Let me restate exactly what I'm saying. So the idea is not to put yourself on the edge or take risks just for the sake of saying, can I take a risk or can I be on the edge? The
Mm,
idea is to create these kind of environments where I said, make it disarming, make it a little fun, give people permission to be
mm, mm,
themselves.
mm,
But to do that, you have to do something that may be slightly on the edge or unconventional. You're
mm,
not doing it to get the edge or to take a risk. You're doing it to get to that end state. And therefore,
mm,
that risk or being on the edge is just an intermediate step. If there is a way by which you can do it without taking the risk, without going to that edge, that's fine too. So, for example, there are meetings that I've done where I said, let's just before we get into the business topic, let's just sit down and meditate for a few minutes. And in 5 years ago, that would have been seen taking a risk, going on the edge, but not today. People do it all the time. Let's ground ourselves. It'll be seen as a little new age woo-woo stuff, but uh, very normal in San Francisco or California, and, and almost expected. A tech company, right?